Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Wild, and in this particular webinar I'm going to be talking about two particular compensation plan tools, the commission calculator and the team size calculator. Now these are tools that I've created to help me to better understand the compensation plan and for helping with goal setting, and I've made them available to all of you. So let's have a look at those two tools today. Okay, so the two tools are the commission calculator and the team size calculator. And you can see a little bit of what they look like on the screen. We're going to be going into lots more detail about each of these two particular tools, what they're used for and how to use them. Now, whenever we talk about the Young Living Compensation Plan, we need to mention the income disclosure statement. You can see that on the screen, but it might be a bit small for you to read. You can view the income disclosure statement at any time through your virtual office in the member resources section. Now, one thing I'll also mention is this is just one of many ways to build a young living business. There are no guarantees with any of the suggestions that you'll hear here in this webinar. Okay, so what are we going to be covering here? We're going to be covering these four topics. First, we'll look at where you can find these compensation plan tools. I'm going to give you an overview of these two tools. Then we'll look in detail at the commission calculator and the team size calculator. Let's get started with where do we actually find these tools. So you want to get familiar with where you can find these, all of the compensation plan tools and guides and resources. You need to log into your virtual office. When you're in your virtual office, you can click on where it says number 1 there, member resources. And then number 2 there, you click on YL Central icon. And then 3, build your business icon. And then number 4 is a guide to the compensation plan. Once you click on that, you'll get access to a number of resources. And the one that you want to be looking at to be able to access the two tools we'll be talking about today is this one here. It says compensation plan tools and resources. So there you've got links for the commission calculator and a link there for the team size calculator. You've also got links for other things, but they're the only two things that we're covering in this particular webinar. We've covered some of the other tools in some other webinars. All right, so let's have an overview of these two tools. What are these two tools for? So let's have a look at them side by side. So the first one there on the commission calculator. The commission calculator, what's that all about? Well, it's there to help you to better understand how much you're going to earn when you enroll a new member or 2 or 3. Now, this is a relatively simple spreadsheet setup. So those of you who are familiar with spreadsheets, it'll look quite familiar to you. And it's been designed to be used on a computer rather than on a phone. It can be downloaded and you can actually use it offline as well. Because it is an online spreadsheet, you can actually download it to your computer and you can actually save it on your hard disk and bring it up and use it on your own computer as well. Or you don't have to worry about that. You can just use the online version. So that's the commission calculator that we'll be talking about today. And then the second one is the team size calculator. Now the team size calculator helps you to determine approximately how many people you need in your organization or your team in order to be able to achieve a particular sales volume. This is a really fantastic tool for helping with goal setting, and we'll look at that in a lot more detail when we talk about that particular tool. Again, this is designed as a spreadsheet that you could download to your computer if you wanted to use it on your computer locally, or you can just use the online version as well. So let's have a look now in a lot more detail at the commission calculator. So you can see a little bit of what it looks like on the screen. We're going to go into detail about each of the sections and how to use it. So what is it? It's a calculator to help you to work out how much commission you'll earn when you enroll a new member. Now, it's not meant to be a tool like Oily Tools, if you've ever heard of that. It's not meant to be a tool to try and work out all of the possible commissions and bonuses that you're going to earn based on all the volume in your team. It's not for that. Oily Tools is a tool that helps with that. This is specifically to help you understand how much you'll earn when you enroll a new member or 2 or 3. or for you to help your team members to know how much they'll earn. Now, it calculates commissions in US dollars, Australian dollars, and New Zealand dollars at the same time. Obviously, just look at the column which is appropriate for you. It calculates the starter kit bonus, the fast start bonus, and the essential rewards bonus and uni-level commissions as well. So let's have a look at that. So this is what it looks like. We're going to have a look at each particular section of this to understand how we actually use it and the information that it presents. So let's have a look first at what I call the changeable values. They're highlighted with a green border around them, and you'll see the number in the middle of them. Now, these represent values you can change. You can't actually modify or change anything else on this particular spreadsheet. You can only change the values which are in the green highlighted boxes. Now, you'll see here that there are 4 different green highlighted boxes that represent the values you can change. So we put the values into those boxes, and then below that, it will do the calculations and show you the commissions down below in those 3 columns. The USD column, US dollars, AUD column for Australian dollars, and NZD column for New Zealand dollars. Now, what do you put in those 4 fields? Well, we're going to have a look at that with a number of examples right now. Okay, so we're going to go through the demos and show you real-world examples so that you can understand how what you need to actually put into each one of these 4 fields. All right, so let's have a look at an example first. So now, in this example, we've enrolled 1 member with a premium starter kit. Now, a premium starter kit is valued at 100 PV, and that's all that this particular person purchased is the premium starter kit. So let's have a look at what we need to put in to the spreadsheet. So in that first field, it says new enrollments with a PSK. So in this case, we've enrolled the 1 person with a PSK. So we put 1 in that first box. Now in the second box, it's asking how many people have we qualified to receive the ER bonus for. Now, if you're not sure about the Essential Rewards bonus, we've got a separate video which explains the Essential Rewards bonus and the qualification criteria to which you need to meet in order to qualify to receive the Essential Rewards bonus. So in this example, we've got 0, so we haven't qualified to receive the Essential Rewards bonus for anyone in this particular month. So we've put 0 in that. Again, if you're not sure about that, just put 0 in this column, and I suggest you watch the video on the Essential Rewards bonus to learn about that. Now in total PV, we put the total PV, and that is 100 PV. So that's pretty easy to understand what we put into the total PV field. Now underneath that, it's got a field that says this. It says how much of this PV is within the member's first 3 calendar months. Now this is a brand new member, so obviously all of that PV is within the new member's first 3 calendar months. Now if you ever get confused about what to put in here, just put exactly the same amount in that you put in the total. That's going to be right 99.99% of the time. So keep it simple. You'll see an example later on of where that will be different. But again, 99.9% of the time, just put the same amount in that you put in the total PV field. All right, so we've filled in those 4 fields. We've got 1, 0, 100, 100. So let's have a look at what happens down below when we've entered those values in the spreadsheet. So down below, it's then going to show us the breakup of each of the commissions and bonuses which are payable, and a subtotal and a total. So let's have a look at those. So I'm just going to focus on the Australian dollar column here. So you can see there it's saying that for the starter kit bonus and the fast start bonus, we earn $32.50 for both of those. The Essential Rewards bonus, it's got nothing in there. And then it has a subtotal there. And that subtotal says if the enroller places a 50 PV order, then this is how much they are going to earn. And you can see the subtotal for Australian dollars there is $65. So it's added up those particular bonuses and given you $65. Now, under that, you'll see it says uni level commission. Now, the qualification criteria to earn uni level commission is a little bit different than the bonuses we have above, and that's why we've separated it out. So you can see in the next total below, it says total if the enroller is also the sponsor and places a 100 PV order. So that means in order for you to qualify to receive the uni level commission, you need to place a 100 PV order in that particular month. And so you can see then the grand total that you could possibly earn on this particular example. You can see there it comes to $68.12. So that is how it breaks up the bonuses and commissions and displays all of that information to you. All right, so now let's go on and have a look at a few more examples so you can get to understand how you fill this in. All right, so let's have a look at this example. You've enrolled one member with a premium starter kit, and you've enrolled another member, but with a basic starter kit. And so that basic starter kit, they purchased 55 PV worth of products with it. So let's have a look at how we'd enter that into the calculator. So in that first field, how many new enrollments do we have with a PSK? And the answer to that is only one. So we've got one with a PSK. So we put one in that field. Qualified for ER bonus, we've got 0 in that. And then total PV. So for total PV, we need to add up that PSK and the PV with the second member, which is 100 PV for the PSK. And then for the second member, it was 55 PV. We add that together and that gives us the total PV. So we've put 155 into the total PV field. And how much of that PV is within the member's first 3 calendar months? Well, all of it. So we put that in the fourth field, 155. So when we enter all of that in, what do we get? Down below, you'll see the commission and bonuses that we're eligible to earn based on the information that we've just entered in. And so you can see there it shows you the totals there, and you can just have a look at those and see what that comes out to. So that's another example. And so you can see here, you can use this not just for one person, but if you've enrolled 2, 3, 4 people in a particular month, you can obviously accumulate all that and put that all in together, just like we did here with the 2 people that we've put in here. Okay, so let's have a look at another example. So in this example, we've enrolled a member with a premium starter kit, and we've qualified to receive the ER bonus on one person. So let's have a look at that. So we've enrolled one member with a PSK, so we put 1 in that field. And then the second field, we've got one person who we've qualified to receive the Essential Rewards bonus for. So we've put 1 in that field. Total PV is 100, so we've put 100 in there. And for field number 4, we've put 100 in there as well. So now when we have a look at what the calculations come out to there, you'll notice that in ER enrollment bonus now has a figure in there. And that's because we qualified to receive the ER enrollment bonus for 1 member in that particular month. So you'll see now that it's got the ER enrollment bonus amount in there. Okay, another example. This time we've enrolled a member with a premium starter kit and other products. So they purchased more products in their initial order, and that totaled 295 PV. So let's enter that into the calculator. So number 1, how many enrollments with a PSK? The answer to that's 1. How many have qualified for the ER bonus this month? And we've put 0 in that. The total PV, well, it's 295 PV. So we've entered that into both fields. So let's have a look and see the values that the calculator comes up with. So you can see here, it's then broken down the totals for the starter kit bonus. You can see there the fast start bonus in Australian dollars there, $95.88 for the fast start bonus. And then it gives you the subtotal and the total, grand total that includes the uni level commission. So you can see that example there. Okay, I'm going to give you a slightly more, I don't want to use the word complicated, but for those of you who maybe want to work out this example. So let's have a look at this example. So here is a member that you sponsored 9 months ago. So they started 9 months ago and they just placed a 380 PV order, and you want to work out, well, how much commission will you earn on this 380 PV order? So let's have a look at how we'd enter that into the calculator to work that out. So in this example, how many new enrollments with a PSK? And the answer is none. Qualified for the ER bonus? None. Total PV? Well, that's 380 PV. Now have a look at field number 4. How much of this PV is within the member's first 3 calendar months? The answer to that is 0, because we sponsored this person 9 months ago. So none of this 380 PV is within their first 3 calendar months. So this is one of those rare circumstances that we put 0 in that 4th field. So when we enter all of that in the calculator, let's have a look at what it comes up with. So you can see there that all of those bonuses up the top there, the starter kit bonus, fast start bonus, and ER bonus, all have 0 in those fields because we're not eligible to earn any of those commissions, but we are eligible to earn the uni level commission. And so you can see there the amount that we're eligible to earn based on this particular order. So that's one of those examples where we put 0 in that 4th field. All right, so where do we find the commission calculator? How do we access it? I mentioned this at the start, but I'll only briefly mention this now, and that is you get into your virtual office, click on Member Resources, YL Central, and Build Your Business. Click on a guide to the compensation plan, and then you access the tools and resources. And it's got the button there you click on for commission calculation tool. So that's how you get into it. Okay, let's now look at the team size calculator. You can see what it looks like on the screen there. We're going to look at that in a lot more detail, how to use it. So what is the team size calculator? Well, the team size calculator helps you to work out approximately how many people you would need in your organization to be able to achieve a particular sales volume, or what we refer to as OGV. Now remember, this is only an approximation, and the team size calculator doesn't take into other factors like qualifying criteria for ranks like leg structure and PGV and things like that. So rank qualifications are not based on how many people you have in your team. You can have a look at what rank qualifications are based on, but they're not based on how many people in your team. So this tool, it tells you how many people you need in your team in order to achieve a particular sales volume. And that's really good for goal setting. So let's have a look at this in more detail. So this is what it looks like. And you'll notice here that there are 2 fields with a green highlighted border on them. And they're the 2 fields that we can fill in on this particular spreadsheet. And when we fill those in, it'll fill out all of the values below. So let's have a look at that. So the changeable values are these 2 that are highlighted in green with the green highlighted border. They're the 2 values you can change. So the first value there is the average order value. And you can see in this example, I've got 130 entered there. Now it's really good for you to know what is your average order value in your team. What you can do is have a look at the last, say, 6 months in your team and write down for each month what was the average order value in that particular month. So do that for 6 months and then average that, and that will give you a good overall average to use in this tool. Now, if you're not sure how to work out the average order value, speak to your upline silver or above leader and they can help you work out what that is. The second field there we have is the percentage of your team who order in a given month. Now, again, what I'd recommend you do is have a look at the last 6 months and work out what was the percentage in each of those 6 months, and then take the average of that. Now, in this example, you see I've put 30%. If you're unsure and you can't work it out, just use 30% as a general guide, but it's good for you to work out what your percent of people are that order in a given month. So, example, if you had 100 people in your organization and 30 of them ordered in a month, that means that would be 30%. So again, it's good for you to track these particular figures. So they are the two values that you can update and change in this particular tool. So let's have a look at what happens when we change those and what we get out of this particular tool. Okay, so let's have a look at this example. So in this example, I'm using what you just saw, the average order value of 130 PV and 30% of the team ordering in a given month. And then what it does is below it spits out all of this information. We're going to have a look at what it's spitting out so that you understand how to interpret this information. So let's have a look at that now. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to focus in on one particular line here so that I can bring your attention to it and I can explain that. So the particular line that I'm going to be looking at here is the one where it's on the volume needed 2000. So what that means is that in order to achieve a volume of 2000 OGV, then these are the particular, this is what needs to happen in my team in that month. Okay, so let's have a look. Much easier to explain it with an example. So let's start from the right-hand side. It's saying that I would need 54 people where 30% of them ordered, so that's the next value across. When 30% of those 54 people order, that will give me 16 orders in the month with an average order size of 130 PV will allow me to reach my goal of 2000 OGV. So that is how you can read those values and interpret those values. So the people required, the percentage who ordered gives you a certain number of orders at a certain average size, which gives you a certain amount of volume. So in this example, you can see that in order to achieve that 2000 volume, I would need to have 54 people in my organization with an average order value of 130 PV, where 30% of them order in the given month. Let's have a look at an example where we modify those values. So in this example, we're going to modify them so that the average order value is 145 PV and 40% of the people in my team order in a given month. So what happens when we enter that in? When we look at this line that says 2000, because that is our goal, we're trying to get to 2000 OGV, you can see there that the people required is 35. So now 35 people are required. You can see that's quite different than the one we had before. So that's why you can understand it's important for you to try and have as accurate measurement as possible for your average order value and the percentage of people in your team who order in a given month, because the values are going to change quite a lot based on those two figures. All right, another example. So in this example, we're going to look at an average order value of 115 PV, where 25% of our team order in the given month. Now you can see here that the people required to reach our goal of 2000 OGV this time is 72. So you can see that's significantly more than the previous one. All right, so let's just have a look at that again so we can understand what we're talking about here. 35. So 35 is the number of people we need in our team in order to achieve our goal, which was 2000 OGV. had an average order value of 145 PV, where 40% of our team order in the month. 54 was to reach the same goal, but with an average order value of 130 PV, where 30% of the team order. And 72 was the number of people we needed when our average order value was 115 PV and 25% of our team ordered. You can see there's a significant difference in the number of people required to be in our team based on how much those two values change. The way that you can use this tool is to help you with your goal setting and to see if the goals that you're setting for yourself are achievable and realistic. So let me give you an example of this. So this is something that I saw, and let's have a look at this particular example. So in this particular example, this person is currently at the senior star rank. Now, being at the senior star rank means that they probably have about 54 people in their team if their average order value was 130 PV and 30% of their team ordered in a given month. Now, this person comes out and says, okay, my goal is to be silver in 3 months' time. Let's have a look at what that actually looks like. What does silver look like? Well, let's have a look at our sheet. Now, if we have a look at silver, which is 10,000 OGV, you can see there that it says that it requires to be about 257 people in your organisation if your average order value is 130 PV and 30% of them ordered in a given month. In order to achieve that volume, you need 257 people in your organisation. So let's have a look at that. Let's weigh that up. At the moment, they're senior star and have 54. Where they want to get to is 257. So that's 200 more people that they need to get into their team over that period. And what's that period? Well, they're saying 3 months. So that's about, almost 65 people each month across 3 months they need to grow their team by. And you need to ask yourself, is that realistic? And the answer to that is probably not. Seeing they only have 54 people in the team already, to grow by 65 people a month over 3 months is not really realistic. And so that's how the tool can help you to look at what your goals are and put them into a context to see if what your goals are realistic. So let's have a look at how you can use that for some goal setting in a bit more detail. So let's look at this example where this person is senior star and their goal is to get to executive volume. So executive volume, you can see there is 4,000. The number of people that they need to have in their team to reach that volume is about 104 based on their average order PV value and the number of people, the percentage of people who order. So you can see they're currently senior star and have about 54 people in their team, and their goal is to become executive with about 104 people in their team. So that increase to go from 54 to 104 is around about 50 new members they need to grow their entire team by in order to achieve that goal. So if they look at achieving that goal over 12 months, you can take the 50 and divide that by 12, and that gives you about 4 members per month growth average. And so 4 members per month, if we look at that per week, it's about 1 member per week joining your team over the next 12 months to be able to grow your team to 104 people over that 12-month period. Now, for this particular person, they're like, yes, that is achievable. They think that they can do that. And remember, this is not just you, what you're doing and enrolling. This is your entire team's growth we're talking about here. Now, for another person, they may look at that and they may go, no, look, that's way too much of a stretch for me. So in that case, what you'll do is you look at that over, say, an 18-month period or a 24-month period. And so you can use that to then use the figures to look at what sort of growth you're looking at in order to be able to achieve those particular volumes. So that is how you can use this tool to help you to better define your goals and what we like to call SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. And this tool will help you to determine if your goals are realistic and achievable, because you can put the information into it, you can see what you're achieving, what you're trying to achieve, and break that down to how many new members your team needs to grow by each month. And is that realistic for you based on the amount of time you can spend on growing your Young Living organisation? Where do you find the team size calculator? In your virtual office under Member Resources, YL Central, Build Your Business, and a guide to the compensation plan. Once you're in that section, you can click on the tools and resources, and you want to click on that button that says Team Size Calculator. So that's how you access it. All right, so the two tools that we have looked at here today are the commission calculator, which helps you to work out how much you'll earn for the members that you're enrolling, and the team size calculator. That's a fantastic tool for helping you with goal setting with your Young Living, with sharing Young Living and where you want to go with Young Living and the ranks and so forth. So they're the two tools that we've talked about today. I hope you've enjoyed that and gotten something out of it, learnt about what those two tools are for and how to use them.